Hello everyone, in this video we continue making pattern for loose fitted top. One point before tracing out our front and back from this frame is that we need to move the back shoulder line up by 3/8 and reduce it from the front. This is usually done in the patterns to bring shoulder line in the right position. I start to do it at front. It's very easy with edit pattern tool. Click on this line, right click and offset as internal line. The amount we want is 375, and you see there are different options for offsetting the line. So you see, if I check both sides, it's put it on both sides. I don't want that. I want it on the bottom side. And for extension, I don't want to do it to the pattern outline. I want to do it on the internal line, because this way the length will be very similar. So I want this line, and I also can check the length to see how they compare. The first one was 6.4 and the second is 6.38, which is pretty close, and I'm happy with it. Now for the back, I do the same thing. I check the internal line and offset as internal line. Again, you see the line is extended to pattern outline. I don't want that. I want the same amount, and this direction is right. But for the extension, if I choose the internal line, again I don't get a good thing. So I uncheck the extend option, and I think this is a better line, because the length is similar to what we had before. Before it was 6.6 and now it's also 6.6. I need to draw my back neck again, and also my armhole again with the G. I connect these two lines together, and with the V I bring these points back. And I can also use this tool to have a better shape. Okay. For back armhole, we can select this point with edit pattern tool, right click and add perpendicular line, local, and choose the amount we need, which is 3/8, and on the reverse direction, and press OK. Now we can trace our front and back with the trace tool, this icon. I start from the front, holding shift, select the lines you want to choose. Don't forget the small lines. This one. And when you are done, right click and choose trace as pattern. We can clean up this internal line later, but let's do the same for the back. Select these lines. Make sure you're choosing the right shoulder line, the new line, and the new back neck line. Right click, trace as a pattern. Now we can delete our lines which we don't need them. I don't need this one either for now. Waistline I keep for now. Okay. We need to add a notch here near this point, which will be our pitch point for sewing a sleeve. With the notch tool, I add a notch near this line on my pattern. Now I can delete other lines and this point, which we don't need. Okay, so this is our front and this is our back. And now I wanna through the seams and make sure my curves are smooth. For that, I select the side seam, right click and match up to start. I think this line could be a little bit more smooth. I can fix it from here to here. So this line is smooth. For the shoulder line, I can do the same thing. Select this line, match up to start. Okay, first I do the neckline, then I go back to armhole. Okay, this angle is good to be near 90 degree. I think my neckline is smooth. Now I bring this point together here. Check this point I don't need, but I needed the curve, so I right click and convert to curvature point. Okay, now my armhole is looking good. Last is hemline. I rotate the piece based on grain line. Make sure side seams have same length because they're going to be sewn together. I think the curvature on this line is more than the back, so I wanna make it less curved. Okay. Match up to end. Now looks good. Now we can start drawing our sleeves, but before that I wanna put this pattern on avatar and make sure my top without the sleeve have a good balance. So let's bring our avatar and turn off the angle. Okay, this one I wanna hide the 3D pattern. And I wanna hide the avatar measurement as well, so I uncheck this point and I bring show avatar arrangement point. So then I click on the front piece and then I click on my front part, one of these circles, and I see it's going into the body, so I change the offset in the property editor to 65. When I increase this number, the curve of the piece become less. And this part I click and bring it to the back, change the offset to 65. Okay, now that it is on the right position, I can start sewing with the section sewing tool or N. I sew the shoulders, then I sew the side seams, and then I see I need the other side, the symmetrical pieces, so I select both pieces and Ctrl D, press Ctrl D. Now I have the other pieces as well. I just need to sew the center front and center back together. I do it with free sewing tool or M. Sew front seam and the back seam. Now I press simulate. Before I start making a sleeve, I wanna fix 2 points on my pattern. I see my front hemline is a little bit too curvy, and when I look at it from the side view and turn off my avatar, I see front is a little bit lower. So I wanna move up my front panel just by 1/4 of an inch here. And with this handle, fix the curve to be 90 degree. Simulate again. Now it does look better at the front, and it's more level at front and back. Next thing is about the grain line. The grain line is where you adjust your pattern on the fabric and cut. If you want to see it on cloth, you can turn it on by going to this toggle menu and show the grain line. Our front panel grain line is parallel to the center front line, which is correct, but the back is a little bit angled. I wanna make it parallel to my center back line, so the way I do it is with edit texture tool. I click on it, right click on this green point in the middle and choose the option align grain parallel to selected. Then I can select my center back, and now my grain line is okay. Okay, now everything is good for making sleeves. I just wanna add a stretch to my armhole because I don't want my armhole to be stretched out by gravity. The way I do this is I select the armhole and I find the elastic option in property editor and add the ratio to 100. This way we know that our armhole is not stretched out and it keeps its length. I bring back my avatar and I start measuring for my sleeve. The measurements and formula you need for a sleeve is in this chart. You can take a snapshot and measure for yourself. We need to first make a rectangle by the sleeve length and armhole length. The armhole length is very easy to find. You just click on these two lines and you see on the blue number 19.67. One is the armhole length at front and back. I have this number written here, 19.67. The armhole height, which we'll need later, is coming from our basic pattern or frame. Since I have removed my internal line from these pieces, I cannot find it here, so I'll measure it on my basic pattern frame. So for the armhole height at back, you measure from this point. With the right angle you come down and reach to this line, and then you click on it and you see the measurement 8.5. So this is the back armhole height. For the front armhole, you need to measure from this point. So with internal polygon tool you can draw a line from this point, the new shoulder line, to this point. So you click on this line and you get the 8.3 measurement. So you have this measurement and you have this measurement. You need to add them together. Armhole height at front plus back armhole height, and divide it by 3 and minus ½ inch. It gives you 511, which will be the crown height of your sleeve. So you need to write down this number plus the armhole length and plus the sleeve length, and rest of it is the number you like it based on your garment. It can be anything. I have chosen 10 for now. And the sleeve crown is something we calculate after we have finished our sleeve. So I start by drawing a rectangle with the rectangle tool. For the height, I give the sleeve length, which is 23, and for the width I give armhole length, which is 19.67. Next, I wanna draw my crown height, which I had calculated to be 511. I select the upper line, right click and offset as internal line, and give the 511 amount. This is my underarm line. Next, I want to divide this rectangle in half to have my right and left side. For that, easily I select these two lines holding shift. Right click and choose the distribute internal line between a space and press OK. I also can mark my rest on the bottom of the line, 5 inch on each side. So first I add a point, extend and trim to pattern outline. Now I can split this line, 5 inch, and same on the other side. Okay, now for my crown, I need to draw a line from this point to this line to measure 9.84, and 9.84 is half of our armhole length, what we had calculated before. We could, with internal polygon tool, try to draw a line like this and reach to this line whenever we see the number, but another easy way is to use the internal ellipsis tool and draw a circle with having this point as the center and the radius of 9.84. So this way, if we draw a line and end it at this point, the intersection of the circle and the line, we are sure that our line length is 9.84. And that's the beauty of geometry, right? So let me here, and we draw this on the other side as well. Now that we don't need our circle anymore, we can delete it. For drawing the sleeve curve, I can divide this line to 4 equal parts, and for that I can right click on the line, split, and choose this uniform split and have 4 equal parts. Same on the other side. And now I need to draw some guidelines on this point to help me draw my curve. For this, I can use the edit pattern tool and click on each point and use the add perpendicular internal line, local, and I give the following measurement. For this point, I choose point 3, and on the reverse direction, because I want it on this side. On this point, I'll have 0.2, and that's the right direction. And for this point, I'll have 0.59. Okay, this is for front sleeve, and for the back of the sleeve, for this point I'll have 0.79 on the reverse direction. This point I'll have 0.59 on the reverse direction, and for this point I'll have 0. Now we can draw my curve. So I do it with the internal polygon tool, or G. I click on this point, hold Control and click and drag, hold and drag. Same pass from this point here, and here I double click. So this is my front. Now for the back, I start again, hold and drag. Okay, and now this is my curve. I can improve the shape by these handles slightly. and make the curve look nicer, but for now I want to draw my underarm line by connecting these points together to finish my sleeve. Now I can trace my sleeve out of the frame by trace tool. Right click, trace as pattern. Okay, it didn't select the bottom line. What you can do is to remove these extra lines which you don't need, or convert them to baseline. So I select all these lines I don't need, either remove them or convert them to baseline. So I remove this point, these lines which were our guidelines. And because I'm going to need these two lines, I right click on them and convert to baseline. Now I need to connect this line together because it doesn't let me to trace. So I right click and join overlapping points. Do the same thing for these two lines. Now I think I can trace this out with tracing tool. Yes, now I can bring this out. So I know that this side was my front sleeve because it has a deeper curve. I want to add the same notch I have on my front panel to make sure that I know which side is front every time I look at the pattern. So with the notch tool, first I measure how it did measure on the front. If I click on it, I think it gives me 2.41. So with the notch tool, I mark 2.41. Okay, and I also want a notch in my sleeve crown, and I want to make this a little bit more smooth, so I'll use my smooth curvature tool. Now that we have created the sleeve, let's check our seams and make sure they are matching. The underarm seams, of course, they match because they are symmetrical. How about the sleeve crown? First, let's remove this point. I want to convert them to curve point. Okay, now I want to measure my front armhole and back armhole, holding shift. I get the number 20.17, and my armhole length was 19.67. Let's see how much ease we have. 20.17 minus 19.67. we have exactly ½ inch. So the ease for armhole shouldn't be more than ½ inch in this method, which means that our crown should and can be slightly longer than armhole. Now we can create a duplicate by Ctrl D, and then on the 3D window we can place our sleeve in the right position. I choose the reset 2D arrangement and I bring the left sleeve first, turn on my arrangement point. For a sleeve we need to rotate it in the right position. This is looking okay. I just want to bring it a little bit lower and change the offset to in property editor. To 65 so that it's not collapsing into my avatar. Okay, now looks good. Now I can start sewing my sleeve seams. The easiest one is the underarm seam. I do it with the section sewing tool or N. Segment sewing tool. I sew the underarm of each sleeve together. Next, I want to do the crown. I do it with the free sewing tool or M. I choose from front to back. Then holding shift, I start from front armhole, this armhole, to top and continue to back. This way the ease is distributed on the whole armhole. I think this looks better. Okay. Now our basic pattern is almost done. I'm happy with how it looks. We can also change the pose to see how avatar looks in different poses. Of course, we have a lot of ease and excess fabric because this is a loose fitted top, but that's natural for such a pattern, and overall I think we have a good balance. Overall fit looks good on this garment, and you can use this pattern for creating different outfits. I will add a link to another video in which I have used this pattern for creating an outfit. Thank you for watching this video.